Paris is one of the most iconic cities in the world, a global capital for fashion, politics, and culture. And yet, when it comes to football, it's strangely quiet. Just one major club, PSG. But why? To understand what makes Paris a one-club city, we need to look at another capital, one that went in the opposite direction. Because if you place London next to Paris on a football map, the difference is impossible to ignore. Zoom out and look at Europe's football capitals. London is covered in clubs, north, south, east, west. Each neighborhood has its team. Arsenal and Spurs, just 6 kilometers apart, hate each other. Chelsea and Fulham literally share a postcode. Now slide the map to Paris. One badge, one club. PSG. No major derbies, no turf wars, no second giant. Just one team, one stadium, and one story. And that's strange, because in every other football capital, rivalries define the culture. They divide cities, fuel passion, and give clubs their identity. But in Paris, there's just one story told by one team. How did this happen? Why does one of the richest, most iconic cities in the world only have one serious club?
Fishman, with his back to the goal, gets the ball and kicks over his head. And it only just misses.
It starts with time. England's Football League began in 1888. Clubs in London were founded by churches, railway workers, and local communities. Football was a working-class tradition, tied to place. By 1920, London already had Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, West Ham, and Fulham. These weren't just clubs. They were institutions embedded in local identity, and they didn't just survive, they grew. Because London was built for it. The city's rapid industrialization brought dense neighborhoods, and with them, loyalty. The expansion of the railway system in the 19th and early 20th centuries meant fans could travel easily across boroughs and beyond. Spurs fans could travel to Highbury. Chelsea fans could visit Upton Park. Derbies weren't just local. They became part of the city's rhythm. Football became a social glue, something passed down through generations, tied to the city's map and its public transport lines. France? Ligue 1 didn't exist until 1932. By that time, cities like Marseille and Saint-Étienne had already started to build their football identities. But Paris hadn't. Not because it wasn't big, but because it wasn't ready. There was no strong local football tradition, no league-wide ecosystem, no time for natural rivalries to take root before PSG arrived decades later. Paris missed the grassroots era, and that would shape everything. So the question became, how can France have a world-class football culture if its capital city has no world-class club? The answer, create one. In 1970, 2 small clubs were merged, Paris FC and Stade Saint-Germain, to create a new team, Paris Saint-Germain. This wasn't a natural evolution. It was a project.
The club's promotion to Ligue 1 was made possible by the combined efforts of lifelong soccer enthusiasts and some less obvious contributors.
Paris Saint-Germain was designed to be the capital's flagship. Politicians, businessmen, and the city itself backed it. And just like that, Paris became a one-club city, by design. Other clubs were pushed out. Red Star FC faded into the lower leagues. Paris FC lost its top-flight spot. There was no local battle, just one brand, PSG. Let's talk land. Since the year 2000, 11 different clubs from London have played in the Premier League. 11 in one city. That's not just a football culture, it's a football ecosystem. Arsenal and Tottenham in the north, Chelsea in the west, West Ham in the east, Charlton, QPR, Fulham, Palace, Brentford, even Watford and Wimbledon had their moments at the top. And somehow, they all fit. Stadiums tucked into neighborhoods, local derbies that turn into citywide events. London made room for all of it. Literally. As the city stretched outward, the clubs expanded with it. No one team could dominate the map because no one team could own the city. But Paris? Paris works in reverse. The city isn't designed for football to multiply, it's designed to hold the center. Now zoom in. It's dense, cramped. Inside the périphérique, the ring road, land is limited and expensive. And that ring defines everything. It separates the historic, symbolic capital from the sprawling suburbs. Building a major club outside the périphérique, it's like playing with one hand tied. Zoning laws in Paris prioritize housing, infrastructure, and cultural preservation. Trying to build a stadium inside the city? Nearly impossible. That's why PSG's control of Parc des Princes is such a massive advantage. It's not just central, it's sacred ground, and no other club gets anywhere close. And this isn't just theory. In preparation for the 2024 Olympics, the city made one thing clear. No new large stadiums would be built within central Paris. Instead, organizers reused the Parc des Princes, Stade de France, and temporary facilities, mostly outside the city center. Meanwhile, in London, clubs like West Ham moved into the Olympic Stadium, publicly funded, well-connected, and purpose-built for legacy use. The truth is, the system didn't just forget to create rivalries, it avoided them. French football has always been designed to distribute power, not to let it clash. The goal wasn't chaos, it was control. One city created opportunities for clubs to grow. The other reinforced what already existed. And maybe this isn't just a Paris problem. In the past decade, no French city has sustained two clubs in Ligue 1. Not Lyon, not Marseille, not even Lille. In France, football isn't built to be local and layered. It's built to be spread out. In Paris, football doesn't expand, it consolidates. France has always been a centralized country. Power, money, and attention all flow through Paris. And just like the government controls national media and infrastructure from the capital, football began to follow the same model. PSG wasn't state-owned, but it was state-supported. The city gave them the stadium. The media gave them the spotlight. Sponsors followed. And in the 1990s, one broadcaster changed everything. Canal+.
Throughout the 1990s, PSG entered a golden era fueled by increased television revenues, thanks to its new owners, Canal+.
Canal+ needed stories, rivalries, drama. But with no second Paris club in Ligue 1, they turned south to Marseille. They pushed the PSG versus OM rivalry hard. North versus South, capital versus rebellion. It became the defining story of French football, and it worked. A second Paris club would have complicated that narrative, but none existed. And without airtime, attention, or money, none would. The media didn't create the monopoly, but once PSG was on top, it made sure they stayed there.
What separates them from the rest? It's boiling over at the end here at Stamford Bridge.
So what happens when you remove rivalry from the equation entirely? You lose something deeper than just competition. You lose identity. Football is culture, and rivalry builds identity. In London, fans are born into club loyalty. Families are split. Streets are divided. Matches aren't just games, they're social events, neighborhood battles. In Paris, there's only one flag to wave, one club to follow, one brand to sell. What London built through chaos, Paris avoided through control. And for decades, it looked like that would never change. No second giant, no challenger, no noise. Until now. In 2023, the Arnault family, owners of the LVMH empire, invested in Paris FC. It's the first serious challenge to PSG's monopoly in decades, but they're starting miles behind. Less fans, less funding. No major stadium? To grow a new giant in Paris, you'd need land, money, media, and a system that allows competition. So far, that doesn't exist. This isn't just about London having more clubs. It's about why Paris never did. One city let football grow through neighborhoods, rivalries, and chaos. The other chose control, centralization, and one identity. So this isn't just about club counts or city size. It's about how two football cultures built differently created two completely different worlds. What do you think? Could Paris ever support more than one major club? Drop your take in the comments, and hit subscribe for more football stories told through history, maps, and power.